Friedrich Merz, the winner of the snap elections, is planning to fulfill a long-held wish. According to Der Spiegel, he is ready to announce the transfer of long-range cruise missiles to Kiev. Ukrainian Armed Forces specialists have already begun integrating Taurus into Su-24 attack aircraft and F-16 fighters. Merz also agreed to create a €500 billion infrastructure fund. He lifted the debt brake, allowing Germany to increase borrowing for defense and aid to Ukraine. Merz also achieved the abolition of the debt brake, which will allow the German authorities to borrow more money for defense needs. Military spending means not only their own needs, but also assistance to Ukraine. In particular, the future Chancellor has already announced his readiness to allocate €3 billion in aid to Kiev. It is expected that this amount will also include Taurus cruise missiles. The German Taurus is a 1.5-ton cruise missile with a turbofan engine propelling it to high subsonic speeds over a distance of around 300 miles under GPS and inertial guidance. Most importantly, it packs an 1,100-pound dual warhead with a smaller charge to blow a hole in the target and a bigger charge to explode the target from the inside. The missile's high-tech features explain why the Ukrainian Air Force has been so desperate to get its hands on the Taurus. MBDA Deutschland GmbH and Saab Bofors Dynamics built just 600 Tauruses for the German Air Force. And until next-generation American and German missiles arrive, the Tauruses are the German Air Force's only deep-strike munitions, critical weapons for a major air war with a serious foe. That's not an insignificant number given that, between them, France, Italy and the United Kingdom have provided Ukraine with just a few hundred similar Storm Shadow and Scalp EG cruise missiles. German Tauruses could grow Ukraine's cruise missile inventory by a third. The Ukrainian Air Force would likely hang the Tauruses under the swinging wings of ex-Soviet Sukhoi Su-24 bombers that the British and French have already modified to carry Storm Shadows and Scalp EGS, in part by salvaging old pylons from retired Royal Air Force Tornado bombers. Coincidentally, the German Air Force still flies a few dozen of the swing-wing Tornadoes, primarily as Taurus launchers. Technology probably isn't the major factor in the timing of a possible Taurus transfer. Merz won't take over as Chancellor until after his Conservative Party has negotiated the formation of a new government with the Social Democrats, a process that could take weeks if not months. Merz might not have the authority and political capital to push through a missile deal until late spring or early summer. In the year after Russia launched outright war on Ukraine, NATO leaders approved a set of military plans designed to repel an invasion of Europe. It was the biggest shakeup of the alliance's defense readiness preparations since the Cold War. NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte has warned that Russian forces could be capable of launching an attack on European territory in 2030, raising fears among the member countries. The secret plan set out how Western allies would defend NATO territory from the Atlantic to the Arctic, through the Baltic region in Central Europe, down to the Mediterranean Sea. Up to 300,000 troops would move to its eastern flank within 30 days, many of them American. That would climb to 800,000 within 6 months. With the Trump administration warning last month U.S. priorities lie elsewhere, Europe must take care of its own security. Mustering just 30,000 European troops to police any future peace in Ukraine is proving a challenge. Billions of euros are being shifted to military budgets, but only slowly, and the Europeans are struggling to fire up production in their defense industries. Beyond funding, tens of thousands more European citizens might have to complete military service, and time is of the essence. According to Stockholm International Peace Research Institute estimates that Europe, including the UK, has almost 1.5 million active duty personnel. But many can't be deployed on a battlefield, and those who can are hard to use effectively without a centralized command system. Analysts say that in the event of a Russian attack, NATO's top military officer would probably dispatch around 200,000 US troops to Europe to build on the 100,000 US military personnel already based there. With the Americans out of the picture, a realistic estimate may therefore be that an increase in European capacities equivalent to the fighting capacity of 300,000 US troops is needed, the Brussels-based Bruegel think tank estimates. Europe faces a choice: either increase troop numbers significantly by more than 300,000 to make up for the fragmented nature of national militaries, or find ways to rapidly enhance military coordination, Bruegel said. NATO is encouraging countries to build up personnel numbers, but the transatlantic alliance isn't telling them how to do it. Maintaining public support for the armed forces and for Ukraine is too important to risk by dictating choices. The way they go about it is intensely political, so we wouldn't prescribe any way of changing this, whether to go for conscription, elective conscription, bigger reserves, a senior NATO official said on the condition of anonymity because he wasn't authorized to brief journalists unless he remained unnamed. 11 European countries have compulsory military service: Austria, Cyprus, Croatia, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, Greece, Latvia, Lithuania, Sweden, and non-European Union nation Norway. Spain's Defense Minister Margarita Robles received her Ukrainian counterpart Rustem Umerov in Madrid on Friday. According to Associated Press, Umerov was welcomed with a full honors tribute on his arrival to Spain's Defense Ministry, ahead of his meeting with Robles. He will also hold meetings with 6 Spanish arms production companies. During a news conference, Robles expressed her support for Ukraine and said, in reference to the negotiations for a ceasefire with Russia, that the ball is in the Russia's court. The responsibility has always been Russia's, but at this moment they have made a proposal supported by the United States and they are waiting for what Russia says, she added. Umerov expressed thanks for the support that Spain had given Ukraine over the last 3 years.
Desde el principio de la terrible y cruel invasión de Ucrania por parte de Putin, España ha estado prestando firme apoyo a Ucrania. Y vamos a continuar apoyándoos en vuestro proceso de paz para conseguir una paz justa y duradera.
Visto al ministro Umerov confiado y sobre todo diciendo que la pelota está en el tejado de Rusia y que la responsabilidad en este momento es de Rusia. Siempre la responsabilidad ha sido de Rusia, pero en este momento ellos han hecho una propuesta apoyada por Estados Unidos y están un poco a la espera de lo que diga Rusia. Invertir en defensa no es invertir en una carrera armamentística, es invertir en la seguridad, en la paz y en la solidaridad también con esos países de Europa que viven muy amenazados por la situación de la presencia de Rusia y de lo que está haciendo Rusia en Ucrania y en otros muchos países.